Well,
That was his
Mama, I never
criticism.
say all. I say not all, not all, not all, not all, but most. Most blacks are like that. Is your husband black? And I want to still encourage you, if ever you needed to overcome anger by going and forgiving your parents first, especially your mama, your grandmama, and this is for all races, you're not going to be prepared for things to come. The flights are canceled or shut down for now, and they're due to resume at 10 o'clock. Some people say 9 a.m., but 10 a.m. at least. And the folk can't go nowhere. What the? FAA system outage grounds all U.S. departing flights. That's according to CNN. And so, the first thing that came to mind, because I don't think America has ever, and maybe did when they had that 9/11 thing, when Allah Abba people blew up the tower buildings and all that. But I don't know if, other than that, when American flights have ever all been shut down. And so the first thing came to mind, and I wondered to myself, is this due to, affirmative action, multiculturalism, and all this stuff they're doing, trying to put people in different businesses and run our country who are not qualified? Is this what's going on? I'm thinking, and they never would let us know, that it's due to putting unqualified people in positions to run our country because of so-called inclusive. No more in our country they're looking for the best person, the most qualified person. They're looking for the black person, the woman, the gay person, the illegal alien person, everything but the best qualified person. And this is what you get. I remember a couple years ago now when they were hiring those black flight control people, air control people, traffic control, who were not qualified. They hired them because they were black. And they're getting rid of all the best qualified people. You know why? I can hear y'all now. You know why? Because they're white. And white people tend to work hard to get to where their position in life, physical position in life, and they become the best at it. No other race is required to be the best at it, except the Asian. I think the Asians still doing their best. And so they're putting these unqualified people as flight controllers and pilots and all kinds of stuff. And this is what's happening. No more is it about the best qualified person. It's about the color, the gender, the illegal alien, and all that kind of mess. And America is falling apart. I want my country back, but my country's gone. My country tears to thee. Now, it sounds good to say America is the greatest country in the world. I'm a patriot. It feels so good to say that, right? But look around you. Where is the proof that America is the greatest country in the world? Where is it? When we were the greatest country in the world, we didn't have all this mess going on like it is now. White people were not discriminated against in the manner that they are now, openly doing it, in the military and everywhere. White people were appreciated because everyone knew that it was a white country, and white people tend to create the best country. That's why everybody want to come to them. And when they come, they destroy them. Talk about good versus evil. And I've said over and over and over again, and I want to still encourage you, if ever you needed to overcome anger by going and forgiving your parents first, especially your mama, your grandmama, and this is for all races, you're not going to be prepared for things to come. You think you're on HDD medication now? It's going to get worse because your anger will cause you to have fear, and you're going to freak out every time they bring a scare unto you. And if you notice that the way they control you, they tell you, oh, the world is falling apart. The world is falling apart, so you better come on and do this. whatever we want you to do. And in your fear, you do it. And they make up all these fancy names like inclusiveness and critical race theory. They make up names that if you don't see the trick, you'll fall for it. Change the name, change the word, and you fall for words because you're in a fallen state. You still fall for words. When people want to hurt you, don't they call you the worst names in the book? When women want to hurt men, they call them the worst names possible. And they sit in court and they cry, knowing that they're lying. But they make up these names. You got to overcome words, and you can. Remember I told you that America is South Africa now, and it's getting worse just like it is in South Africa. And South Africa is now controlled by the blacks. It's controlled by the blacks, and it's worse than ever and getting worse. And they still want to blame the white man for it, even though he left and let them have it. They say, okay, black people, y'all say y'all want it, and you can do it. We're going to let you have our beautiful country. We're going to go out on the farmlands and just create some food for ourselves and our families. And we go to build some little private schools out there and just kind of do our thing. We won't bother you up here in the city anymore. Sorry about apartheid. Y'all feel like y'all can do it. You can have South Africa. And the blacks took over South Africa. And it is worse. In America, it is so bad now that the devil is afraid to stay there. Satan want to leave. I saw Satan at the airport, and because the flights couldn't take off, Satan like, I'm trying to get out of here. What the? The devil is on the run. And the same thing is happening in my country. And it's going to get worse because they're putting all the people in positions of decision-making and running things that's going to screw it up even more so because of the hatred of their hearts. And they love revenge. And they're trying to get revenge upon this nation. And because white people will not speak up, ain't nothing there to stop it. Nothing. Watch this story for Reuters. The ruling party of South Africa, the ANC, which is a communist socialist organization, and we've been knowing this for years, and yet when that little Nelson Mandela guy came, they worship him. They worship the devil. Remember that? Gave him money and everything. Anyway, the ruling party of South Africa, the ANC, is facing protests over the conditions of many citizens. Watch this.
Sonnyboy Mosaboa is setting up his stall selling grilled cow feet in Diepkloof, one of the poorer parts of South Africa's Soweto township. He's able to do so because of a social grant introduced by President Cyril Ramaphosa 2 years ago as a financial lifeline amid the global health crisis. In February, Ramaphosa extended the scheme by another year at a cost of 44 billion rand, or $2.9 billion US. As well as making it permanent, he's also considering increasing it for its 10 million beneficiaries. Political analyst Ralph Matera.
Is it financially sustainable? Is it sustainable with our growing deficit? The answer is no.
Not sustainable, Matera says, but also necessary. That can be seen in downtown Soweto, where the unemployed queue from as early as 2 a.m. to get their grants. Nearly 3 decades after the end of apartheid, and more than a third of South Africans are out of work.
Amazing. Don't you wonder in your own private self, what's wrong with the blacks? They're like this all over the world. What's wrong? Are they cursed? Really? Maybe if you ask the question, you can understand and see how to overcome it. They are now ruling South Africa, and look what you have. They are eating, those people are cooking the cow. You saw this black guy cooking there on the, look like cow feet or something? What do you call that? Yeah, cow feet. Ain't no meat on that. What that's going to be the outcome, and you already see it happening because what they're doing, they're begging for more affirmative action and reparations. They're not encouraging the people to be responsible. Okay, black people, we are taking over now, so y'all can go and be responsible now. The white man ain't going to hold you back no more, okay? So go now, get off the government, and start taking care of yourself. They're not telling the blacks that. They're saying you need more reparations. You need more government money. And the blacks are lining up for it. So you saw what's happening there in South Africa. The Herald Live is reporting that half of South African population, half of South African population, 29 million people, is 100% dependent on state welfare. Not a few, but half of South African population, 29 million people, is 100% dependent on state welfare. Not 5% or 10% dependent, 100%. They will not go get a job. And the black government is too happy to keep them there. We're going to find some money for y'all. The ruling ANC leaders boast that this is a good thing, even suggesting more. Yeah, this is a good thing that 29 million people is 100% dependent on state welfare in South Africa, Mommy Africa. 100%, half of the people. And the ANC saying this is a good thing. Y'all still think the blacks love one another? How about black bro? You my brother. Come on, bro. The top economists in South Africa are stumped as to why 30 million South Africans are on welfare 30 years after the end of apartheid. One is quoted, "It's all going a bit the way of Zimbabwe." It's going a bit the way of Zimbabwe, and we don't know why. See, they don't even have sense enough to know is that they're destroying the people by giving them free stuff. Or at least they pretended not to know. And now South Africa is going by the way of Zimbabwe, and Zimbabwe is so bad because the blacks ran the white people off their farmland. Y'all got to go. And then Zimbabwe, with the hell in a handbasket, the people start starving. And then after that, they start begging the white man to come back. We were just playing. Y'all come back. We hungry. We don't know how to farm. We don't know how to take care of ourselves. I told you that if white people leave America, it's over. In less than 10 years, America will be done with. If white people just patch up and leave all the money in the bank, leave the doors wide open, and leave your homes so y'all can have our house in Beverly Hills and everywhere, you're on your own. In less than 10 years, America will be a stone ghetto. It's like putting the illegal aliens and the homeless people into motels and hotels. They're going to turn them into a ghetto. They don't have that inner thing that's been put into us. It has not developed that will cause you to take care of yourself, to be an independent person, individual. They don't have that. It's undeveloped, so it's dead. And guess who they're blaming? Even though the white folks left and gave them everything. Guess who they're blaming? Experts call the crisis a complete head-scratcher, putting forth possible reasons like a shadow apartheid, working to continue inequality in South Africa. They're still blaming on the white man, even though the white man has nothing to do with it now. But they're still blaming it on the white man. What's wrong with you black folks? Why don't you pull away from the crowd and start thinking for yourself? Because this is growing in America already. Look at all the crime that the blacks are committing. And they're not going to jail. The white man being blamed for it. Black people, y'all can do it, but you got to pull away from the lie. You got to become individuals again and work hard to overcome that now because your nature has not developed. And God gave us, inside of us, there is a nature that when you work, when you take care of yourself, when you become an individual, it grows. And that gives you more insight and energy to take care of yourself. You don't need the government. You don't need someone thinking for you. But if you don't do anything, that part of you will lay dormant and it will die. This is from YouTube. Pander says, this is true. I am here in Johannesburg and I'm black. I rest my case. They listening to the show right now and they know what I'm saying is true. And they're in South Johannesburg, South Africa, and they're black. They say, yeah, it's true. Why don't y'all question, well, what's wrong with the blacks? What's wrong with the blacks? I'm going to make a rap song, what's wrong with the blacks? And it doesn't have to be that way, but you got to pull away from the government. You got to pull away from your so-called black leaders. You got to pull away from the black preachers. You got to pull away from the white liberal so-called leaders. They are just using you. They are stunting your growth. God does not put us on earth to starve. We came fully equipped to take care of ourselves. Really. He didn't put us here for a welfare check. He didn't put us here for someone to go and feed the hunger, bring them some sandwiches. Oh, did you hear that? Something like, and I'm not quite clear on it, so I may be saying it wrong. But in New York, the illegal aliens have been put up in hotels, nice hotels, and they've been served sandwiches and things like that. They're like, oh, we don't want no sandwich. What the? We want some rice and beans. And so they're throwing the sandwiches in the trash. Our dime has been thrown away because they want some rice and beans and those fried bananas. What do you call those things?
Plantains.
Huh?
Plantains.
Plantain? Right? They want some plantain. This ain't no plantain. This is a sandwich. What the? I'm an illegal alien. I broke the law to come here. You put me in a hotel, and you're going to give me a sandwich? What the? Jenee, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey there.
Hey, Jenee.
I called you before.
Okay.
I was in the imagination of my mind and very emotional that day.
Speak up a little bit.
One second. Let me turn the volume up. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So I was really emotional that day. I called you, and I realized I was overreacting to something.
I get so emotional, baby. Every time I look at you.
I'm kind of new to the points that you've laid out, and so I'm still getting them down.
Okay.
Well, my question for you is, because my husband likes a lot of what I've said that you've said, and I was listening to you the other day, and he heard you say all black people don't. You basically generalize all black people that they aren't like builders and things like that. And I'm just wondering if you know it's a good and evil thing, because he wanted to know, why do you generalize? Because if someone just hears that, they could shut the door on everything else good that you have to say and never hear the other points, because you're generalizing rather than saying most black people today that I see. You know what I'm saying? So I was just wondering what you would say to him about that, because
well, Mama, I never say all. I say not all, but most. Most blacks are like that. Is your husband black?
He's half. He's mixed.
He's half black.
He identifies as mixed.
But does he have mixed black and white, or mixed Mexican, or what is he?
Yes, sir. He's black and white.
Black and white. And so I never say not all. I never say all. I always say not all, but most. He doesn't see what I'm talking about with the blacks.
He just said he just heard you say black people. He didn't hear you say not all that time.
Yeah.
And so he was like, oh, no, that could really, shut people off. So
But the one thing about the truth, love with love, most people are not going to want to hear the truth because they love the lie. They love their insanity, right? And so they don't want to hear the truth. And so you should not hold back the truth, which will make people free, just because some people are going to reject it. They have to, even God said, not all, but a few people will accept the truth. And the ones that he's trying to reach are those who will accept the truth, and he would just let the others suffer and die.
Yeah.
He's not going to hold back the truth just because some people may reject it. So, Jenee, you married to a half-black man. What's wrong with the blacks?
Well, I feel like I can't criticize other people.
What do you mean by that? You're not criticizing. You're trying to reach out to help. Why you don't love the blacks enough to try to help them?
I love them. I love them enough.
So why can't you say what's wrong with the blacks?
I'll say what it is.
What is it?
We need to be born of the Father.
Are you black?
And I'm not.
Oh,
no, I'm mixed.
And so what's wrong with the blacks? Not what's wrong with we.
Okay.
Oh, you mixed too?
I have Native American and Italian.
Everybody want to be an Indian.
I have 1%.
Everybody want to be an Indian except baby Jessica's
Native
daddy.
American.
And so what's wrong with the blacks?
They need to be born of the Father.
That's for sure.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And do you tell them that when you're in their presence?
No, I've been really quiet for the most part.
Why?
But I have, the only time I interact with other people really is during family events. I spend a lot of time alone, working on my house and what I'm going to give my children. So I don't talk to people very much, but I did talk to a pastor one time, and he was talking about white people and how, like, as though I knew that all of us were racist. And I was like, well, I know that really happens. I'm not denying there's racism, but my family has literally always taught me to love and respect people for who they are.
But there is no racism. Racism does not and has never, ever since mankind existed.
I agree with you on that. It's just good and evil. It's just hatred.
So why did you say there is racism?
Because at the time I thought that there.
Oh, okay.
I was still thinking that was true.
I see. Amazing.
But yeah, so I've been a lamb. I've been so emotional my whole life. My mother taught me well.
You forgave her?
Yes, I have.
Oh, good. Are you doing the silent prayer?
No.
And
I'm doing it almost all the time, and I'm trying very, very hard to get that right. And honestly, before I run across your work, I had been asking God to help me make my prayer, because I do, like I said, I'm a Hindu Christian, and we do meditation in the morning and at night, and I've just not been very good at it, because I think I was overcomplicating it. When I came across your work, for some reason, it's like you drive those important points in that Jesus says, be still and know God.
Yes.
It's like you hear that all the time. You know it's there. But for some reason, when I came across your work, I've been much more successful than I ever have at it. I guess I have been doing it every morning and every night, but I'm not happy with I want to do it even better, I want to do it even deeper.
And what does that mean?
That just means instead of going into my prayer room when I'm tired, I'll go when a little earlier,
Oh, okay.
in the evening.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
Or I'll
before
do
your
it a
body.
little bit longer.
If you know you're going to get tired, you're going to bed at 8, you can do it at 7. You don't have to wait until 8 o'clock. And so continue to do it, and just, you don't want to put any effort in anything. You don't want to meditate on it. You want to just observe it. You want to become a living being and not in control of anything, and you'll be fine. But as long as you try to control yourself or someone else or anything, it's just going to make it harder for you. It's never going to work. So you want to let go by letting go of the imagination. All thoughts are all lies all the time. Are you watching the show right now?
Yeah, well, I can't while I'm on.
Oh, you can't see me right now?
Yes. No, because I had to. I was doing it on my phone.
Oh, okay. I have this video I want to show you, but you have to see it when we hang up.
Okay.
You've heard me talk about the attack upon white people in my country and around the world, right?
Yeah.
Well, there is something called Miss Universe, and the revolver is reporting that to prove that something's wrong here. Not that it was their intention to do it, I guess, to prove something wrong, but I have more proof that white people are being attacked. That's why we have White History Month. July just feel white, so we can remind white people, y'all better wake up, right? The revolver is reporting that with the Miss Universe competition coming up, many are sharing an image of the top contestants from last year, and we have pictures of them. And up top, and you'll see it later, but up top are all what? See, can you tell where they're from? Who are those people? Up top are the blacks.
Yes, from France.
The top on the left?
Top one on the left is from Canada. And then to the right is France.
That black girl?
Yep.
Okay.
And then in the middle, Great Britain. And then Italy. And then the Netherlands.
So up top for Miss Universal competition, all blacks except one looked like an Asian woman. No white woman representing any of the white countries. 0 white women. They got these affirmative action people up here and not the women that earn it and work hard to get it. What do you think about that, Jenee?
I think it's terrible. I've been feeling it. I can feel it my whole life because on Netflix it says, "Dear white people." It's like, why don't you just put me off today? Thank you. Because there is love in my heart. And I am not an ism or ist.
Nice. And then on the bottom, they have all white women, but they're from Mexican countries or something. Where are they from?
Starting on the left.
Far left. To our left, maybe you're right if you're watching, all depending on where you're sitting.
Bolivia.
Bolivia is white.
Then Colombia.
White.
And then Guatemala.
White.
Honduras.
You know what they said on The View?
And Peru.
That's
white. All white women in foreign countries, but the white countries, they got the people of color doing it. What in the world is going on here?
It's bias. It's obviously biased. And when people who are black, when they say, that we're looking down on black people, I'm like, where? I see all over the news. I see all over the TV shows. Like on The View, they said white Republican women are cockroaches. And I'm like, so if everybody's saying white people are so terrible, I'm sorry, but why do black people still feel so attacked?
They don't. They're just pretending so that they can keep y'all on the run.
And the thing is, if they just want to keep their benefits that they've won so far, my thing is, I dated a guy who told me oh, I'll take care of everything. You don't have to work. Worst trade I ever made, sir. Because he had some real, he wanted to keep me as his literal slave. He literally wanted to keep me, and he was so emotional.
Was he black?
He was like the worst woman. No, he was Trinidadian, so he was part black, I guess.
Yeah, Trinidad black.
Yeah.
What the?
Okay, he didn't identify as black, so that's why. He got very offended when I gave him a compliment about being, part of him being black, and he was like so offended.
Amazing.
And I was like, that was a compliment.
Nice. Well,
So he was being more racist. Sorry, not racist.
What do your husband think of? And then I got to run. What does your husband think of you now that you're realizing racism doesn't exist and you see what's happening to the whites? What does he think about that?
Oh, he never thought that way.
But when does he see that it's happening to white people?
He sees that white people are being put down, and he sees all the lies.
Oh, okay.
He's actually he's seen himself as like both his whole life, so he doesn't buy into any of that.
Amazing.
Victimhood.
Well, Jenee, thank you for your
very hard.
Nice. Thank you for your call. Call me again, all right?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So let's just put that picture back one more time. Just to remind the folks what's happening in my country. Up top, these are so-called Miss Universe competition coming up, right? And everyone that's represented in the white countries are black, except for that one little Asian woman. And then on the bottom, what look like white women, but they're in foreign countries, not in their own land. And those black people didn't earn it. It's affirmative action. They're not winning Miss America or the competition because they're the best. They're doing it because of color. That's how they get into these universities. They get these jobs at the airlines and things like that, air traffic controller, because of color. That's why the airline, I believe, in my opinion, is shut down today because these people are not qualified. They don't know how to fix the airplane and all that kind of stuff. They need the white man to train them, but they're running the white man off. They're trying to get them out of the military and everywhere. And everything is getting weaker.